don't know.
Maybe if he was like really drunk off with some scotch or something.
I'm gonna tell you something. The more you drink, the better I sound.
Passed out is even better.
I was just thinking that, John.
I don't think I can get that drunk.
I don't think I can get that drunk, dude.
Sure you can.
You could try.
Wow.
Alright, let's go ahead and
Wow.
get started. I need to make some. Call meeting to order at 7:30.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Roll call, Supervisor Turner present, Clerk Sharp is excused, Treasurer Lisa Moore here, Trustee Darrell Nichols,
Here,
Trustee Michael Pinkowski.
Good.
Approval of the agenda, I have a couple of things, under old business, or I'm sorry, new business, take off number 9, Sherman Road property. Kim put that on there and I'm not sure, she asked me to remove it. And then I'd like to add number 10 as the debtor insurance bill. And that's all I had. Anybody else have anything?
We're just talking about, we're gonna talk about our. Never mind.
We can.
Anybody else?
I'll just take it.
What are you looking for, Mason?
Another report, you get that, another report on about this?
Or
It's under, after citizens' time. I put her at the top so that she could do the thing.
Oh, okay,
audit report. Yep.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the February 13th agenda with the additions and deletions.
Sorry.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Pinkowski. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First citizens' time. No one? Auditor report.
Great. Hello, everybody. I'm just going to sit, if that's okay. So I'm Sarah Raffo. I am the auditor for the township. And if you open up your books, to pages 1 and 2, this is our independent auditor's report. And you can see in the top of that second paragraph, it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the township. So this is what we call an unmodified opinion. It's the best audit opinion you can get. If you jump ahead to page 28, we'll look at each fund individually.
28.
Yep. And just keep in mind that these are your financial statements as of March 21st, 2022. So on these statements, we show your original budget, your final budget, the actual amounts, and then the variance between the final budget and the actual. So looking down the actual column, you had property tax revenues of about $137,000, licenses and permits $65,000, federal grants. This was new this year. This is your ARPA funds of $21,000. At the end of your fiscal year last year, you still had $132,000 that had been deferred that were unspent. State grants totaled $322,000. They were up about $45,000 from last year. And then we had your normal charges for services, interest and rents, and other revenues. So in total, your revenues were $638,000. They were up about $133,000 from last year. For expenditures, your total general government was $260,000. The biggest increase we saw here was in your township hall and grounds for the roof, which was $79,000. On the next page, public safety was right in line with the prior year at $33,000. Public works totaled $69,000. The ARPA spending was in that roads and drains account, so that was up a little bit more from last year. And then we have your typical community and economic development for planning, zoning, and ordinance enforcement of about $20,000. Other, which includes insurance, payroll taxes, and miscellaneous of $42,000. That was right in line with last year as well. So in total, your expenditures were $473,000. They were up about $140,000 from last year. So your general fund increased the fund balance $164,000 and ended with a fund balance of $778,000. So you have a good healthy fund balance. The next page is your road millage fund. Total revenues here were about $113,000. They were up about $3,000 from last year. And then expenditures were $49,000. They were down about $36,000 from last year. You'll see a comment in this fund. The mowing expenses had originally been posted here. We moved them to general fund because mowing isn't allowed under your current millage. So we just moved it to general fund. So this fund increased the fund balance about $64,000 and ended with a fund balance of $294,000. The fire millage fund had revenues of $230,000. They were up about $7,000 from last year. Total expenditures were $144,000. Nothing out of the ordinary there. So here you increased your fund balance $86,000 and ended with a fund balance of $214,000. Your sewer fund on page 32 had revenues of about $20,000. They were down about $3,000 from last year. Expenditures were right in line at about $20,000. So this fund decreased your fund balance about $400 and ended with $99,000. And then your last fund is the half-wrap cemetery fund on page 33. This fund just had interest income of $44. The fund balance at the end of the year was $5,600. The only footnote I wanted to point out to you is on page 24. This is your deposit footnote. Under the custodial credit risk paragraph, which is the second to last one, you can see that the township had $1.5 million invested in CDs, checking accounts, and money markets. Of that, $533,000 was insured by the FDIC, which left uninsured deposits of $980,000. I'm not concerned about the uninsured deposits. I have very few clients that are able to insure all of their cash because you can only get $250,000 for demand and time accounts at each bank. So unless you wanted to run all over the county to do your banking. And just keep in mind that that's just one day out of the year. Your cash was up about $440,000 from last year, but $132,000 of that was your ARPA funds, which have pretty much all been spent at this point. So, and then you have two loose letters in the back. The first one that starts with in planning and performing our audit. This is what we call our internal control letter. And in the third paragraph in the middle of it, you can see that a material weakness is a deficiency or combination of deficiencies in internal control where there's a reasonable possibility that a material misstatement would not be prevented or detected and corrected on a timely basis. We had a few material weaknesses this year. The first one is that we prepare your financial statements for you. I would say about 95% of our audit clients get this comment. We just don't have the accounting staff here to prepare the disclosures and the year-end approvals and that type of thing. When we submit it to the state, they don't care about that comment at all. The second comment is for accounting transactions. During the audit, we noted several transactions that were recorded in incorrect accounts. There was an entry for $121,000 that was just posted to a suspense account in the general fund in order to get cash to balance. Instead of being posted to proper accounts, most of this was to record tax revenues. It's important that transactions be recorded in proper accounts to ensure the township's books are reflecting the correct activity. We recommend reviewing journal entries to ensure that they are being posted to proper accounts. And then this next one is proper spending of millage funds, which I already noted. During the audit, we noted an expenditure for mowing in the amount of about $19,000 in the road millage fund. Mowing is not an allowable expenditure for the language of the ballot, and therefore this expense was transferred to the general fund. And then the last comment we had, audit preparation and filing deadline. The state of Michigan requires that audits be filed with the Department of Treasury's local government unit within 6 months of year end. The completion of our audit was delayed due to errors in the general ledger and not receiving requested information timely. We recommend the township ensure the timely filing by having all accounts reconciled and all supporting documentation available prior to the start of audit field work. I will say that this audit, with the transfer from QuickBooks to BSNA, it was an especially difficult year since it happened in the middle of the year. There was an overlap of some postings, so that definitely didn't help the audit this year at all. So I would expect not to have any kind of issues like that for next year's audit. And then our second letter is our letter to those in charge of governance. This one's more of a legal letter. The wording doesn't change much from year to year. The second section talks about accounting policies. No new accounting policies were adopted, and the application of existing policies did not change during the year. Accounting estimates are an integral part of your financial statements, and our most sensitive estimate is the useful lives of depreciable assets. Your financial statement disclosures are neutral, consistent, and clear. The completion of our audit was delayed, as mentioned earlier, due to the errors in the general ledger. Because of the delays, the audit was not filed timely with the state of Michigan. We had journal entries during the audit, which have been posted. We didn't have any disagreements with management during the course of the audit. I got a signed rough letter when I was here last month for our draft meeting. As far as we're aware, you didn't consult with another auditor to get a second opinion, which why would you? Because we give you a clean opinion. And we'll have a variety of discussions throughout the year that are not a condition to our retention. And we always encourage you to call us if you have questions about anything throughout the year. Any questions for me?
Absolutely. Well, that mowing, it sounded like it was in the wrong place.
The expense was recorded in the road fund. Your millage, the actual ballot, if you read it.
Why was it recorded in the road fund? Has it always been recorded in the road fund?
I don't
Or
believe
was
so.
this
I think
an anomaly the first year it has ever been done like that?
I think I actually put it in, I thought it was a road expense, so I will take the blame for that one.
Because we talked about that during
Yeah,
the
'cause I
budget.
think I had
We
it in
talked
our
about
budget
that when we were
last year
going
under roads.
through our budget last year.
So I just wondered, how
Yeah,
it got
as far
put
as
in
I'm
there.
aware, it was a one-time thing. This is the first time that's ever happened.
So what recommendations do you have for making sure these books are in order? Is there something that you would like to come and sit down with somebody and say, okay, this is the checklist, this all needs to be done on this date? Because I certainly don't like hearing that.
Right. Yeah. So we do send an audit list at the onset of the audit. We had most of the information right away. We had a very difficult time getting trial balances, which come from the clerk. I think we had your audit, the boxes with the receipts and the disbursements and all of that for a couple of months before we got trial balances.
Why?
I don't know.
delivered mine on time.
I don't know. I mean, we started copying Penny on all of the emails, requesting them. So that was a big part of it.
I know we're gonna start earlier this year too, we had talked about that, to get the process started earlier. And I'm going, right now, because of doing the budget, I'm going through and making sure things are where they're supposed to be. There's a couple things that need to be moved into the right line items that I had questions with. So me and Kim are working on that, so that we get a fresh start, a good start, so.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can as far as making sure that things are getting posted where they're supposed to be posted. guys have any questions? Daryl,
No, thank you.
Lisa,
No, we're good.
Thank you for your time.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And just so everybody knows, there'll be a copy of this at the front desk for residents if they wanna come in and take a look at it. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve our 22 audit report.
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Nichols. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the January 9th, 2023 minutes. I looked them over, I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either.
Anybody? Any changes, corrections? Alright, seeing as none, I'll make a motion to approve the January 9th, 2023 minutes.
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Nichols, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Supervisors report. I have received another $6,000 in grant money for the tire cleanup portion from the state. This will be used for the tire trailers and tire disposal. I applied and gave a presentation for one more for this year with the Greater Milan Area Foundation. I found out this evening I received $6,000 from them. So far we have received $15,500 in grant money for the spring cleanup. Since 2021, we have received $30,460 in grant monies to pay for these cleanups. We are hoping to expand the cleanups to include paper shredding and recycling. I attended the Milan Area Fire Board meeting. They are finding since they've implemented full-time staffing during the week, it has cut response times in half. So far, they have not had any problems with getting firefighters to work the shifts. I attended several meetings with the road commission. You'll see that's on our agenda about the day road. We'll discuss that and that. Resident questioned why the compensation committee repeal ordinance has not been in the paper. It is posted, and we had 30 days to publish an ordinary ordinance. The 15 days is for zoning ordinances. I got the plan for the park back from Perchua. They provided this to us for free. The next step is to draft a 5-year plan for the project, so I've started working on that so that I can apply for grants to offset the costs to put the park in. I will be calling a meeting with the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to discuss the plans and the 5-year plan. And that's all I have.
Good job on all the grants, Betty.
Thank you. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Make a motion to accept the supervisor's report.
Second.
Moved by Gagowski, seconded by Nichols, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Treasurer's report.
The balances as of right now, and the tax account is $1,855,113.92. I'm too excited because I have to take now and divvy up that money tomorrow to schools, us, and of course the county. The general fund has $777,925.91. The road millage account has $457.10. Obviously, there'll be some money going in that. The fire has $138,773.54. The sewer has $2,087.65. And I have the CDs up to date as of today too. They went up just a little bit. You got $91,711.83, $61,948.23, and $5,685.02. And that is my report.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Nichols, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. clerk's report, Anita, do you have anything for Kim? Building department report. Okay. Looks like we had a total of 10 permits. Grand total was $1,371.59 for the month. I'll make a motion to approve the building department report.
I'll
Second.
second.
Moved by Turner, second by Moore, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Assessors report. The organizational meeting for the 2023 assessment roll is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023 at 4 p.m. Meeting dates for the March Board of Review for Monday, March 13th will be 3 to 9. The March Board of Review will hold a second meeting on Tuesday, March 14th from 9 to 3. That's all she had for her report.
That was,
I'll make a motion to approve the assessor's report.
I'll second it.
Moved by Turner, second by Moore, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Zoning administration report. General statistics. As of this report, 493 separate zoning ordinance and other issue activities, including 48 blight investigations, 43 split inquiries, 18 new address requests, 46 drainage issues, 109 permit inquiries, and 173 land use consultations. To date, 371 been resolved pending further developments. Zoning activities, reviewed and consulted on accessory dwellings, property line, pond, fence, barn, land division, property value, rezoning, livestock, utility access, solar, drainage, aircraft, airfield, motocross and field issues. Code enforcement activities, 17 open complaints. Blight violations, 5 with notifications in progress, 2 referred to the attorney, and 3 with corrections in progress. Permit violations, 2 referred to the attorney, 1 under investigation, and 1 with corrections in progress. Use violations, 1 with corrections in progress, 2 referred to attorney. Thank you, Mike Navarro. Mike is here if anybody has any questions.
I have some questions. So I know we have some stuff that's been referred to the attorney, whether it's barns or whatever.
Yeah.
Where does all that stand? Because I get calls, like on blight, that is down here on that, on the corner of Gramlich and Grams.
Yeah.
With the fence and all the cars.
Yeah.
The other one's up there on Plank and Darling, or Sherman,
Yeah.
about all those cars.
Both of those.
The pond down here on Graham's Road.
Yeah.
The barn down the road, the barn over here on
Yeah.
Ostrander. I'm just wondering what's going on with that stuff. I mean, when I read your report, nice, but the stuff that's already, if it's been referred to the attorney and we're waiting on a
Where's it
court
at?
date, I want to know what's going on with that, because it just seems to be in limbo.
Got it. I'll get an update on where everything is. Send you an email. I'll send all of you an email.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the zoning administrator's report.
Second.
Moved by Turner, second by Mikowski, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Planning Commission report.
So we had a public hearing for a site plan revision for Wholesome/Ag Industries. Ag Industries is changing their name to Wholesome now. Back to, I think that's what it was. Back in the day. So they brought some pictures and a few other people, and they want to expand that pit because the eagle or eagles are now gone. And I'm going to digress for a minute. because it pissed me off when I heard it. So I guess an eagle got hit out there is what they said. I don't know what hit means. I don't know what that means. They called Raptor Rescue. So they call Raptor Rescue, they come out, I guess they get the bird and they rehab it. So in the meantime, while this bird's getting rehabbed, they write the Fish and Wildlife, the game, whatever it is. So they write them and they want to get rid of the nest, the eagle's nest. So they get that approved by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They get it approved. So they don't remove the nest. They cut the trees down that the nests are in. And when I look at that state of Michigan seal behind us, I'm pretty sure that's an eagle right up there on top. And on top of that flag, that's another eagle. So, you know, when I got a company that's based in Switzerland that is taking out trees that eagles are living in, pisses me off. So that site plan revision, the application was incomplete, so ended up getting tabled. So that's where that's at with that. They want to expand the berm in closer. They had an 1/8 of a mile buffer from that eagle nest, and since the eagle's not there anymore, they want to push it in more towards that, so they can go right along with it. We had some citizens here that felt that Ag Industries wasn't quite living up to their promises that they made, so I asked Mike if he could come up with all the complaints that have been lodged and stuff, and he's going to come up with that stuff for us for our next planning commission meeting, so we can go over them one at a time, and you know, if there's any discussion, we can certainly get a hold of the citizens that logged those complaints to find out how they were addressed and if they were addressed. One of them was that berm, and we had a couple of citizens here that spoke to that, you know, the rock and the berm and some of the drainage and so on. So we've got some work to do with that.
Whatever happened with that fly rock incident?
They were both here. I don't think anything ever came of that. I really don't.
Were those trees in our township that they cut down?
Yeah, I think both of them were in our township because they brought it to the township, and I'm pretty sure, you know, they brought it to our township so they could, you know, go ahead and move closer to that. So, I don't care what township it was in, really.
No.
You start cutting down eagle trees,
I know.
you know, we're supposed to be good stewards of this community. I mean, that's what we get elected to do, stewards of the community, and to take care of the resources and stuff that we have in this township, and this is what we get. I'm telling you, that does not set that well with me. And I understand that's their land, and they've written of Fish and Wildlife, but doesn't mean that I like it. And I will not mince words on that. I do not like that at all. So
the berm, they're wanting to move the berm out so they can.
they want to move that berm closer now that the eagles are not there.
Daryl, do you have your site plan to show
Co-
them?
Closer to,
If
so
you
the
don't
berm
have
would be
that,
actually
then-
the berm would actually be closer to the, there was
Do
one
you
up
need
front.
it? Cause I have mine.
There's,
Oh, I'm sure I got it here.
they're moving the berm closer to the road is what they're doing, is they're cutting out that section, right?
No, look. So if this was the tree with the eagle in it, they had to stay an 1/8 of a mile away. So now that eagle's not there, so now they want to move it in closer.
What's the reason? I mean, why?
Because the eagle's not there.
So they
I
went-
mean, would that give them more room to blast? Is that the reason?
Oh, that'll give them more room to do, that'll give them more room to mine.
Okay, that's what was my question.
Oh yeah, they'll be able to mine more. Absolutely. Yeah, I got those too.
Just so they get a little
the nest was in here.
So they want to move all this way.
Yeah, like
So,
that.
so everything, all
So
that.
this is the original berm, they wanna move it out to here.
No, they wanna move in closer.
So the road, what road is that?
That's just the line.
Oh, okay.
These are the roads.
So that was tabled then?
Oh, absolutely, that was tabled.
I have a question, Darryl. Didn't the letter they got from the
Thank you.
Fish and Wildlife and stuff like that, didn't it say if they could remove the nest? That's what they requested to do?
I thought they already did it, from what I heard.
They what?
They had done it.
They already moved
They
them.
requested to remove the nest. Well, they didn't remove the nest, they cut the trees down.
That's right.
Well,
That's what they
I'm
done.
asking. But the letter that they sent to the Fish and Wildlife requested that they could take the nest down, right?
So without reading through this whole thing
I
right
think
here,
it's on the very back there. We're seeing something about it, I think it's in here. Yeah, I remember seeing something about removing the nest.
Yeah. But instead of removing the nest, you know, where the eagle.
oh, they
could come
removed
back,
it.
Yeah, they cut the whole tree down.
Sure did.
But that wasn't their request. Their request was to remove the nest, as far as I remember.
So was there eagles
Or the-
like
the
in there
nests.
too at the same time?
No, there was no eagles in there. That's what they said. But nobody come out and inspected that from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So they said there weren't any eagles in there. They wrote them. Nobody come out and looked. So they went ahead and got their permit to remove them. So that's what they did.
No, it wasn't just remove the nest, it was they cut the trees down.
They cut the trees down. That's
Yeah.
what they said.
So the eagles couldn't come back to the
Yeah.
trees.
Obviously.
And I asked them, I said, you know, this is what I liken it to. I go to the store to get some groceries, I come home and my house is gone. So I'm not living there no more, so just go ahead and take the land. Well, you wasn't living here, so we'll just take it. Oh shit, I ain't living there. You got nothing to live in. So,
What John just said is correct. It does say in here that they were authorized to remove the nest.
Right.
But I just noticed this, didn't they say two?
yeah, there is,
Yes, there's two.
yeah, two.
There were two nests.
The one at the, if you read that farther down, Amanda, it says that a second nest was discovered, so they were authorized to move that one as well.
Okay.
Amended,
I see it now.
8/24/22.
I see it now.
So they took two of them out.
My point is, instead of.
I guess they don't regard that eagle as meaning anything over in Switzerland like I do here in the United States.
Well, not only that, my point is, they requested to remove the nests. Well, that would, to me, that would give the eagle an opportunity to come back and build another one if they wanted to.
Exactly.
And our fish and wildlife game experts that worked for them were here, and they said that wouldn't stop them from the eagles coming back and building one. Okay. So if I'm going to move my operations closer, sure that would have some effect on them.
For sure.
So sometimes they just get rid of the problem to make their job easier.
Yeah, so they cut the whole trees down. Instead of just removing the nest like they were supposed to, by their request, they cut the whole trees down. So eagles will come back there.
You're right. The only thought I have on that is that they cleared the property of trees to begin with. The only reason they didn't clear those trees initially, and the reason they burned around them, was because of the habitats. Once those were removed and nullified, they were clear to, or at least they probably viewed it as, we can go ahead with clearing the property like we did previously.
Anything else, Jerry?
Yeah, so, and on with that, one of the folks in here that was speaking about the ag industries, he asked if, like the ZA could accompany the township engineer out there for a site inspection, and I'm trying to think of the guy's name, Rob Hayes. I asked him when the last time that was inspected was, and he said he thought it was 2021 was the last time that they had an inspection. One of the citizens didn't seem to think that anybody has inspected that with the way things are going on, and that's why he requested if Mike could go with the engineer accompanying him just to make sure everything was like it was supposed to be. So, we also elected Dan Cable and Doug Darling to chair and vice chair once again. So, and Amy as the secretary. So, the solar ordinance got tabled because we knew it was going to be on the agenda for tonight here. So, that concludes my report, Supervisor Turner.
I'll make a motion to approve the planning commission report.
I'll second it.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Moore, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reading of monthly disbursements. I'll give it a try here. Looks like out of the general fund, was $22,374.76. Payroll was $17,468.37, bringing the total disbursements of the general fund to $39,843.13. The road fund has the DTE street light, which I'm questioning whether that should come out of the road fund. I'm gonna talk with Kim about that. Those might have to be amended and moved also, so that was $35.31 for the DTE streetlights. For the fire fund, total was $11,594.81. We had any sewer, okay. So bringing the total disbursements to $51,473.25. And we'll do them individually. Let me get them done real quick. We didn't have no sewer. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have to do a roll call. I'll make a motion to approve $39,843.13 out of the general fund.
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Pinkowski, and I'll do a roll call. Supervisor Turner, yes. Sharp's excused. Lisa Moore?
Yes?
Darryl Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Pinkowski?
Yes.
Motion carries. We had nothing under the sewer fund. I'll make a motion to approve $11,594.81 out of the fire fund.
I'll second it.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Moore. Roll call, Penny Turner, yes. Clerk Sharp excused. Lisa Moore?
Yes.
Darryl Nichols?
Yes.
Mike Pinkowski?
Yes.
Motion
We're gonna make a
carries.
change on that line too, by the way.
Are you changing what?
On the fire fund, it says from the sewer fund,
Okay.
Oh.
same line.
Well, it's above its sewer fund, she's got nothing, that's why she makes
No.
it on there, but there's nothing that's, you can see the dollar sign next to it.
No, right here.
No, to approve the disbursements from the fire fund totaling 11, it says sewer, it should say fire.
Okay.
I'm just catching that.
I see what you're talking about, so it's on the agenda.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve $35.31 out of the road fund.
Second.
Moved by Turner, second by Pinkowski.
Same
Roll
thing on that line too, by the way.
Let me see it. Okay, Supervisor Turner, yes. Clerk Sharp excused. Lisa Moore?
Yes.
Darryl Nichols?
Yes.
Pinkowski?
Yes.
Motion carries. Total monthly expenses is $51,473.25. Moving on, the voice over IP. And that should be, everybody should have the CTS
Yep.
quote. And I think Kim asked you guys here because the board had questions before. And one of my main questions is, what happens if we lose power?
Yeah, good question. So the second line item there, that's an application that can go on cell phones, on, portable computers. Your cell phone will work off of a different network. So if you happen to lose power or internet, because that's the other big question we always get, that application will still work, and you can make and take phone calls from that. As you can see, they're $1.95 a month. So
That's, sorry, that's tied to your guys' number through here. It won't be like if you have it on your cell phone and you receive calls in and you make calls out, it's coming from your guys' number. It's not going to be tied to that cell phone number. Just make that clear.
So it's not gonna be tied to our personal cell phone?
Exactly. Correct. And I can customize. So if you only want that in emergencies, then you only flip it on when you need it. You can turn it off when you don't want it. So that way you're not getting all the calls and stuff.
That was my main question, and if we lost power, would we still have phone service?
Yeah, and we can add on more to that. We always just put one on for that, mainly that reason. But then some other people prefer, hey, somebody else wants to have the application tied to their extension as well. And if that would be a case, we didn't assume by what we talked with Kim that would really be an interest. But if it is, it's super easy for us to add more on. So, and it's only $1.95 a month.
So the phones are going to be through our computers then, is how that works? Or is it, we're gonna have actual handsets?
you'll have handsets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can, if you decide, and we talked to Kim, I think you talked to Kim about this,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, that if somebody decides they don't want a handset and they want to use it on their PC, we can change that around. So it's really personal preference. I'm an old guy, I like to have a phone to talk on, but all these young folks that work with me all want to use it on their computer. So it's really up to you guys.
And the phones, they'll have a display, I mean, we'll be able to transfer a call without having to hold the line and go out there and say you got a call on
Yeah.
this line.
Yeah, this is a traditional, what I would say the usage would be like a traditional phone system. So it's answer, transfer, hold, conference, all those features and functionalities are built into it. So
I don't
intercom
picture of what
between.
it looks like if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, the actual physical one. So I apologize.
And that's,
You can just keep that. So.
the intercom's all on this quote for 5, is that what it is?
Yeah, handsets are.
We've got, from our conversation,
9.
it was 9, and we can adjust that. I mean, obviously, if you decide, oh, so-and-so doesn't want a
okay.
physical phone, they just want to have it through their computer, then of course let us know.
That's the top line item.
Yep. Correct.
Now this desktop mobile thing, the $1.95, is that per month or is that a one-time fee?
No, that's per month. This entire bill.
No, it's per month.
Yeah, per month. Yep.
I see it there.
So is that the $1.95? Is that per phone, or is that
That's
or
one device. That's one application.
so if we have 9, that's 9.
If you decided you wanted to add 8 more to it, then you would add that $1.95 times 8.
I got you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I don't like the mobile device.
Oh, on their phones?
Yeah, no.
I don't think that's something we don't have to have on our phones, right?
No.
And the thing is if there's no power, there's no internet, every time we lose power here, it goes out. And we're just approved a giant generator, so we don't need that.
Mobile phone?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll be so you can use it from your mobile phone.
Oh.
Might come in handy for Mike.
I was gonna say, someone out in the field knocking on doors,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, for you.
yeah. It'd be nice to be able to,
Mike, Penny, Lisa.
yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing I would add there is, if you have an issue with the internet, it may not be a power issue. If you have a problem with the internet coming in, a truck hits a telephone pole down the road and knocks out the internet, then you're going to lose phones. You're probably losing phones now when that happens because it's Comcast, right? They're getting it. So your lines are coming through Comcast, so you'd lose them today also. With that one application, and again, for $1.95 on just one person's phone, you now have the ability to make and take phone calls from the business number, and not interrupt. You can always turn that off too. So just you might keep that in mind.
So what is it, like an app that you put on your phone?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more than happy to show it what it looks like on my phone. You can have it you can have it on, like, if somebody had a tablet or a laptop. Like, I have mine on my laptop.
Can I see that?
My phone. Yeah.
Of course.
You can actually put it on 4 different devices too. So in your case, most people wouldn't put it on 4 devices, but for an emergency purpose, where you guys want to keep phone lines up and running, you lose power or lose internet, you could have it on 4 people's phones. They would all ring at the same time, but you're just trying to take phone calls in an emergency, right? So heaven forbid a catastrophe, something happens and people are trying to get a hold of you and you want to be able to take those calls, you can. You can always turn it off too. I have it on my phone right now, I have it turned off because I didn't want to interrupt the meeting, but it's easy enough to do.
And this has its separate router, it looks like.
We do, yep.
What's the name of it? The application, it's Max UC, so it'd be this.
If you'd like, I can walk down the pieces and parts here. I know it probably looks like gibberish to
You might, yeah,
most.
you might.
Yeah, for sure.
It's on both. It's on everything.
So that top line item, the 9 of those,
Is the phone itself, right?
yeah, the phone
Yeah, I
with
don't
the
know how it
base
works as
seat.
far as you have to have
Can
an
we
actual
do this
seat
later,
to
guys?
decide to,
Mike.
so,
Can we do this later?
yeah,
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that top line item, that's your hosted seat, which you have to have, and then that's bundled with a phone. So that phone that John, on the picture that John showed you, that T53. So that's a bundled package. The next line item is that mobile desktop application that you have one of. Unlike the old phone systems, where you got a box that sat in the back and that powered the actual telephone. You bring phone lines in from Comcast or AT&T, Mobile, right? You bring it into the phone system, and then from there it would go off to a phone. That's not the way any of the new phones work. So John's got included here a new data switch that provides power. So the only other alternative there is a 6-foot cord that has to be plugged into an electrical outlet. So now you have 2 cords going into the telephone. Nobody likes that. It's a pain to move the phone around. It comes unplugged. The phone stops. So we've included that 24-port PoE switch. You had asked about the router. That router is a specific router to voice over IP. The way I like to describe it in my layman's terms, if you think of data that comes over your internet, comes in little packets, and those packets are not time sensitive when it comes to like Word documents and such. If a packet comes 100 milliseconds late, none of us humans know that, right? If voice is 100 milliseconds late, you get that choppy port call quality. So this router will help to deter that. The other thing that it does is it also creates reports. Along with this, you'll have coverage on the phones, so for the entirety of the contract. And so if there's an issue, you don't have to worry about calling us and getting a charge. If there's a problem, we're going to come out and we're going to fix it. Better than that, this allows us to remote into it and potentially fix the problem remotely, which is just faster, right? So you guys call us and say, we got a problem, we can pull this up. If we can see what the issue is here, a lot of times we don't even have to send a truck out. I will say this, that's a differentiator between us, and I know we talked to Kim and she'd gotten some other quotes. We're local. We're right up the road on Carpenter. We're in Ann Arbor there. We're also in Bloomfield and Port Huron. We have 15 techs. We've been around for 40 years. So if you need something and you need to talk to a person and you need to have a tech out here with a bag with the tools, that's us. We'll come out and do that. So that's what that's in there for. The other two, the main listed telephone number and the 911 service, those are management fees that you'll find in some fashion on every single quote. The verbiage may not be the same, but it all means the same thing. And if you guys remember back in the day, that when you used to have a cell phone, you had a phone number on it, and you wanted to move from Verizon to AT&T, Verizon would tell you, no, you can't. You can't take your number. You can move, but you can't take your number. So they changed the laws for portability purposes. So someone's got to manage that. So on every phone bill, you'll find that there's some line in them that says, hey, we're going to manage that number so you can now move it from AT&T to Verizon to whomever. Correct. So that's a management fee. Same thing with E911. Somebody's got to manage that, so that's why that's on there. Does that make sense?
So we'll be able, with this app, I'll be able to call the office here and get my voicemails through my phone, through this app.
Yeah. Yep. You can even call in remotely. I'll tell you, every single extension also has the ability to have not an app that you can talk on, but a portal, and it's super simple to use. And if I'm at home, I can pull up my portal on my home PC and listen to my messages right from the computer if I choose to. So,
And that's underneath that $1.95.
actually, that just comes
with
yeah,
those.
that just comes with, that's not the $1.95. That $1.95 is a mobile app. This is a different application that, it's really like a website. You go to a website, and if you have the right login credentials, you can then listen to your voicemail. You can make changes to your telephone if you want to.
Could you also, like, you didn't have to use that app, you could, like, so if Penny needs to call, or anybody needs to call and check their voicemail, they can use their cell phone too to do that?
Yeah.
Without that app?
Yep. And I'll add this to it. The way that we do things, we would assign, if you guys said, hey, we want to do this, we would assign a project coordinator. And that project coordinator would hold your hand throughout the whole process, make sure that it's programmed the way you want it, make sure it's going to work, and they're going to train you, right? And we're always there, because we get this all the time. They'll come out and train, and a month later someone's going, what? I don't remember what she said, right? You can call us, and we'll come back out and train you.
So all that's included in $330 a month?
Yep.
Your service fees and all.
Yep.
Like, if you have to come out here, we won't get an extra bill for you having to come out.
The only time you get an extra bill is if there's what we call an add, move, or change. So an add would be a phone, which would just, it's on you'll see the pricing here. If you want to add a phone, it's right there. That's what it costs. A move, which really is kind of old-fashioned, because these phones, as long as there's a computer cable, you can simply unplug it and take it over to that other one and plug it back in, and it will work. But in the case where you said, hey, I want to move a phone from that office and I want to put it back in the back of the room here, and there's no cable, we would have to come out and run a cable, and you would be charged for that. But if there's a service issue, hey, my phone's not working right, you call us, it's covered. If you have questions in terms of, hey, I don't remember how to use it, you call us, there's no charge.
So we seem to have some internet issues here.
Yeah.
Say you get everything hooked up.
Yep.
And are you going to figure it out and say, if it's something inside this building, you say, hey, this is what it is, or it's Comcast because of X, Y, Z. You're going to be able to do that?
We're going to do one better than that. So one of the things that we do, again, unlike some of the other companies that were kind of out of state where they package phones up and just ship them to you, if you guys say we want to do this, we get a signature. One of the first things that happens is we schedule a tech to come out, and we have a box. Think of it as a little computer. We'll go to your modem, and I think goes over in the other room right there, right? Yeah. So our tech would take that back there. They plug it in, and they leave it in for 24 to 48 hours, and that's going to do a bunch of testing on your internet. Because to your point, we're only as good as the internet connection. So if there's a problem there, you might think it might be us. So we're going to go through and we're going to test it, and if it fails, then we will, on your behalf, help you contact, in this case, Comcast, and have that discussion. It doesn't happen very often that happens. We put in hundreds of these a year. I run our Ann Arbor office. I probably had it happen maybe 3 times in 2022, maybe 4 times. And in which case, our tech will, you guys have to call and conference us in, because Comcast won't just talk to us. But once that happens, we'll speak their language, and we'll pull up the report and say, hey, this is what happened. You had, 220 drop packets in 3 minutes, blah, blah, blah. They'll say, oh, okay. Most of the time, by the way, it's the modem in the back. It's old, and they'll send out a new modem, and that typically fixes the issue. But it behooves us to make sure that you guys are solid in terms of your internet connection.
So you would have to figure out with the people in the office of what day the internet's used the most for that 48 hours.
No, because it's not a matter, the way that your internet will work, if it's going to drop, it's not necessarily a matter of load, right? It's not that, hey, I've got 5 people on or 3 people on or 10 people on. If your internet connection's bad, it's simply bad. Now, if you start to have issues where it's slowing down because you have more people in the office, that's honestly probably your internal network. That all being said, if that's of concern to you,
Yeah.
then we will schedule. Meaning that you want us to test it while there's a bunch of people here. We can schedule that. That's not an issue. We'll schedule it so that, hey, our busiest day is Tuesday. Can you test on Tuesday? And we'll do that.
And then say there is, like say it is a new modem that Comcast would have to be, what would be resorting to, get that no modem replaced, so we're not having any downtimes with no phones.
So we wouldn't install the phones until that's fixed.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we come out, we do all that testing. I like to think I'm a semi-smart guy, but I'm not a technician. So even though John and I did a walkthrough here and looked at some of the cabling and that kind of stuff, we'll actually send a tech out to do that. So if there is another issue, we'll bring it up to you guys.
Well,
So
with also on the modem, so say the modems do take, go get old, there's,
yeah.
we all know that.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a backup plan for that?
So the modem for the internet company, that's on Comcast. So once we determine that if there was an issue, then you guys would have to work with them to get Comcast to come out and get that scheduled. I know we've been in here 3 or 4 times, I think, and I don't know what day it was, but I know there was a day where there was like 4 or 5 people working, and there was a couple of days where there was maybe, I think it was Kim and maybe one other person. So I think you guys might just schedule that for that particular day, have them come in and do it, just know you're going to have some downtime.
Well, I didn't know if there was like a fail-safe, like, for that time in between Comcast and, getting that replacement, modem.
Yeah, no, we just wouldn't simply.
So we would be down without phones.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't install the phones until.
No, like say,
He's
like,
saying if
everything's installed,
Oh, I see.
everything's installed and the modem
Crashes.
crashes.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. So yeah, in that case, that's again why we typically recommend the application that goes on the phone, so that you're not completely dead in the water. If you have that one application, you can at least take calls and triage, right? Say, hey, I'm sorry, but our internet and phone's down right now. Can I take a note and have somebody call you back? If you guys call us, we're 24/7. We have emergency services, so if it does go down, you can call us. We take, emergency calls are priority. So we got techs running around the area. They'll drop what they're doing and send somebody out. And if it's the only thing I can tell you there in terms of Comcast is Comcast. So if it's a Comcast issue, then but you know what? Your phone lines come through Comcast. So if Comcast went down, your phone line, if you stayed the same that you are today, you didn't make any changes, and Comcast went down, you lose your phone lines anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we do. Anybody else have any questions? I know it'd be nice to be able to transfer a call and not have to, like I said, hit line 1 on hold and then walk out there and say you've got to call line 1 kind of thing.
Yeah, your phone system looks like it's served you well for a while, but it's definitely due for an update in some fashion. So.
And as far as training, I know we all can't be here on the same days. We come out several different times.
Yeah, they can even do like a Teams training if need be, so that we can catch people when they're available.
Okay.
So.
Some of the questions I have.
Yeah, last thing I wanted to add is that you guys are most likely tax exempt, right? If you are subject to any taxes, this is price without tax. So, and I say that I've had some other governmental entities, senior centers, that kind of thing, that still, for whatever reason, even though they had tax exempt, it was only Michigan, not federal. So just understand that if there's any tax levied in any means, they could show up. So, okay.
I know we had a couple others back in December. somewhere that she had quotes from.
Yeah, I believe she was talking about some of them, and yeah, I'd say that was the biggest, like you said, the biggest differentiators. Those companies were like North Carolina and I think California and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the biggest differentiator between us and them is the local aspect and the training.
If you guys have any questions in the meantime, Kim has our number. She's calling. We're happy to come back if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, this company, Pantera, was out of California. And the other one's North Carolina. So this is the only local one. The one bid was $177. That's the one for North Carolina. And that's was it 7 pounds?
You look at the Pantera one.
Yeah, the USIP is one. Pantera was, there was a different one, it go from range from 168.45 to
How come
240.
you have all the paperwork?
I just had Pantera one. She was confused by what they talked to her, so she sent it over to me because she was completely confused by when they were quoting her, because they were quoting her like different things as far as handsets and different phones, and she sent it over to me for advice on how what they were quoting her essentially. I don't have all of it. I just have the Pantera one that she was confused about.
Yeah, that happens all the time, which is why I read it to you, because when you look at that, a normal non-telecommunications person would look at that and not know what's being recorded. So.
What's the board's pleasure?
I think we should just only have one mobile.
Number?
Yes.
I don't know, Lisa. Kim?
One mobile number?
Well, one mobile app for everybody. One person if the phone goes down.
So you would, like the clerk and treasurer?
Why do you need it if it's supposed to be at the hall? You can still access your voicemails and all that. Through the conference call.
And that's what you quoted was one, right? And that's for a desktop and mobile, or just?
It works on both, so you can have 4 instances. I'll mention this also, which is a nice part about this being voice over IP cloud based. If you had a local power supply for the phone, let's say that something happened to the building, you couldn't be in here for a week or 2 weeks. You could actually take that telephone home. If you have internet access at home, you could plug it into your router at home, and it would work. So you could. We work from home twice a week, and I can take my telephone home, plug it in, and if you call me, you don't know if I'm sitting at my cubicle at work or if I'm sitting, in my office at home. So there are other options there also.
I would think more than one.
You just said you could actually take the whole phone too. Why? If you're gonna be here at the time, why do you need a mobile app?
The mobile app will allow me to dial in or do I have to have, it's a different app that I don't get charged for if I wanna dial in and see what my voicemails are?
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
This mobile app is just if the phones go down,
Yep.
we have access at least on one computer to get calls.
Or one phone.
One phone.
So you can take it and say, somebody, yourself or somebody say, yeah, phones are down, message, I know it's a little bit more work on you, but also, say we have long power hours, it shouldn't be leaving the hall anyways, a phone, but like you said, you can take that and plug it in at your house.
The other thing is that can go on, that one application can go on 4 phones. It would work off the same number. It works off of, like John said earlier, an extension. So we would marry it, right, so it mimics that main extension, so when the main line rings in. So you could actually have that on 4 different phones. If 4 of you had it now right here and the phone rang, it would ring on all 4 of yours. In an emergency sense, though, that's not bad. That's not necessarily a bad thing. The only other thing I've seen municipalities use this for would be, like the gentleman back here said, people that are on the road, knocking on doors, going on site, and potentially it's an extension, so you could dial an extension. It would, if you had to transfer someone to that person, you could transfer it that way. These can be added, by the way. So if you, let's say you choose the one, right, and 6 months from now you think to yourself, we probably should have gotten more. You can add it. You simply call John and say, hey, we need, they're $1.95. Just add it to the monthly bill, and our techs would send you the application and help you load it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only other benefit I see to you guys would be like what he was saying. If you need
That
to
would
call
be
him, but
what you just said, that you could, this one could be married to 4.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
it could be, you could marry it to just a 2. So if he's out there, yeah, granted, I mean, or whoever it would be getting a phone call for Mike. You know, it may not even be pertaining to Mike.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, your phone's ringing, you know, all the time. You know, because there's people that
He-
call after hours.
His phone will be ringing off the hook, but if it was potentially after hours, sure. There's it's up to your imagination on how you want to use it. So
Okay, any other questions? All right. Do we want to go ahead and make a decision tonight, or do you want to look at the other quotes? They were in your December packet.
Kim's the one that spearheaded all this, isn't she? I would rather wait till Kim gets back and at least she can give us a lowdown on what she's discovered on the others as well.
That I can pull out. We can pull out our December meeting minutes and look at the quotes as well.
Yeah, I have them here in mine, but yeah, they're in your December packet.
Okay.
All right, Darryl, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I have a motion on the table until our next month's meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Nichols, seconded by Pinkowski, all in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, gentlemen.
yeah,
thank you guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Here, I'll give some cards here. You guys have any cards?
Okay, thank you.
You guys can or email. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, number 2, solar moratorium. As you are well aware, solar moratorium will be expiring February 14th, the current one we have. So I had Bondi issue a new one for another 6 months. This one would expire, let's see here.
August 8th. Oh no, that's
That was the
August.
last one.
Oh, wait.
And then we extended it again.
well, second one.
Should say it here somewhere. It says for 180 days from the date thereof. So if we approve it tonight, it'll be 180 days from February 13th.
And you're gonna be back to August again.
We extended it on August 8th of 22. The initial one was February 14th of 22. We extended it on August 8th of 22, and now it's up again February 14th, I think is the, which will be tomorrow. So, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution extending the moratorium on large-scale solar.
I'll second it.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Moore, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Cleaning bed, we only got one. Put it out for bids, we only got one in, and that was from, Curie's Cleaning, LLC. It says cleaning of the entire office area, including bathroom, kitchen, and once a month in the meeting room, and taking trash to the road. $100 per week. Cleaning supplies will be provided by Curie's Cleaning. Anita, did we ever hear back from our current cleaners on why they haven't been back or haven't?
Well, they have been back, however, they took 2 weeks off during the holiday season, but did not let us know about it.
And what do they charge us?
I believe it's 75 a week.
Okay.
Do they clean everything?
Not very well.
No,
I was gonna
they
say,
don't
I always
clean.
have cobwebs in my office, I don't think they ever.
The dusty and like
Well, see,
on the,
my question is, they said they, you know, this other one you're talking about, they said they would clean back here once a month, you know. A lot of times we get a lot of, you know, especially with the food giveaways and stuff like that, you get a lot of,
Spring and fall.
yeah, you get a lot of
Meetings.
mud and traffic footprints and everything else back here, and our rugs and stuff get all screwed up, and everything gets screwed up. Is that gonna be enough?
I can reach out and ask, you know, if, what she would, the cost would be if she.
there was
could.
supposed to be another one that was coming in, but I did not hear back. We didn't hear back from
Should
him.
have an as
Does the
needed.
current people, they don't clean back here, do they? No, they don't.
They're supposed to, I think, I don't know how often, but.
Supposed to be, yeah,
Well, I
but
know I came in, you know, before to do whatever, and they've been back here. So,
It's not
I mean, I don't know how well they clean, but they're back here doing.
So have they been back on schedule, Anita? I think it's on Sundays they come in, isn't
yes,
it?
yeah, it is.
I mean,
And
that's
as far
not-
as I know, they have been, but like the dusty and the, you know, even the bathrooms and stuff, it's just not being done. I mean,
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to table this, and I'll reach out to Gary's Cleaning to see what the quote would be if she cleaned this every week.
Or even every 2 weeks.
Back here.
monthly or as
We'll see
needed
how it
even.
works.
Yeah.
I mean, when
As
there's
needed.
elections and all
I'd say
that.
that's needed.
Yeah.
All right, moved by Turner, seconded by Moore to table. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, tablet. I
I
don't know who put this on.
I didn't get too much information. I want to make a motion to table this till next month.
I'll second it. Moved by Pinkowski, seconded by Turner to table to next month. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
That tablet seems pretty goddamn elusive. You know, for years now it's been elusive.
One
I'm just
year,
saying.
1 month.
I'm just saying.
January 10th, 2000. Yeah, January 10th last year.
I'm just saying.
All right, let's go.
New business, Day Road Bridge. Myself and Dundee Township Supervisor Joanne Yule met with Road Commission on a couple occasions regarding this Day Road. The county got a grant to replace that bridge. Unfortunately, to replace it, we have to bring the road back up to standard. It has nothing done to that road since 2000 when they closed it. And as you can see by the pictures, there's really no road there left. And the cost for the townships to bring that road back up to usable would be $411,100, which would be split between the two townships. Dundee had their meeting and they requested that the road commission just remove this road, remove the structure, and use the grant money on another bridge somewhere else. There's no houses on this road. There is one farmer that uses it to access his farm field.
But that's why they don't use it, because it's not a road there no more, and that's why there's no houses there.
And
That's why that eagle doesn't use that nest no more. It's not there.
I just can't see putting this kind of money
No.
into a road that has no
No.
houses. And-
Especially with that road millage coming up.
Dundee has said no, so we would have to be the burden of the whole cost.
No.
No,
So
No.
I just need a motion then to let the road commission know that we are not interested in maintaining this
I'll
road.
make that motion.
I'll second that.
Alright, moved by Nichols, seconded by Pinkowski, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries, and I will reach out to the road commission and let them know.
but hey,
PC,
can we decide where that grant money goes to, that's what they're trying to do that? Oh, no, they have to,
the state does, the state will determine on where
Okay.
They had talked about using it to make a turnaround, to take the bridge completely out and make a turnaround.
What bridge? The day what?
Bay Road Bridge, yeah. I don't know what the purpose would be, except for people to go party, I guess. I don't know. They'd have a turnaround to go down there, but,
No, that would be just a hangout for, no,
so I think they're gonna use that, they'll use it on a different level.
no.
Oh, jeez.
PC annual report, this is a requirement that the planning commission give us an annual report, and I believe you guys approved it at your meeting. So just basically it describes what the planning commission did last year, the ordinances they worked on, site plans, special land use permits they worked on. Anybody got any questions on it?
I know that we have the township attorney brought up and that, later down the lane, but who on the PC can contact the engineer or the attorney?
The chair.
That's it.
So if there's no questions,
I do have a question.
go ahead.
Ag Industries complaint and permit renewal approved. I know he's not talking about that, what just got tabled.
No, that was their first one when they came in to
Okay.
get their renewal, remember?
So
back
this
at
is
the beginning?
2022.
Yeah,
Okay. This is all 2022.
Right. this is last year's. Did you guys approve this at your meeting?
You're on the committee here, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure.
Okay,
Because that did not get approved, it got tabled.
sure. Well, yeah, you said.
So did you guys approve this?
This right here?
To send to us?
This right here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing this.
Mike, did you have it on their agenda, the chair's planning commission report?
Yeah,
Their annual report to?
yeah,
That's
yeah, I had
It
it,
said
I had it
it
in
was
the packets.
approved to right here on the last part of it.
Yeah.
Says it was approved at the February 6th meeting, do you know if that happened?
That was like, I got it
You
right
guys
here.
just,
The PC report, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you guys approve?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
here a minute. I got the minutes in my hand, the agenda. Solar ordinance rezoning application, annual P meetings for 2023, so that's what we discussed, meetings for 2023 and 2024, we approved that, and we also asked for 6 more. That's what we had asked for this as well.
For the
So,
budget?
yes.
so this doesn't even ask for that we're approving, because this is where we would approve those 6 meetings that would be split between solar and here, so it's not on this.
It's not on this.
Yeah, and that's
That's
what
what we're asking for 2023 though.
yeah, it
When it
says,
comes down to the budget,
looking ahead to,
yes, absolutely.
I would think that that's where it would need to be.
Yeah, that's what it is for 2023.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom.
I know, I'm gonna give you guys the, budget, so you can look at it and see, if you want 6 more meetings, you'll have to let me know.
That's what we do want 6 more. That's what was discussed, and whatever we don't use, we won't use, but at least they're gonna be in the budget for that master plan and any other things there.
How come you guys didn't use them last year?
We used some of them last year.
2.
Is that all we used?
And they were for solar, not the master plan.
Right. But we did use some for the master plan, because Anita was doing the homework on them, bringing all the stuff up to,
That was during the regular PC meeting.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't think you guys had any.
Was it?
No, you guys used 2 for solar, nothing for master plan, and everything else was done during
Well,
your
don't
PC.
do any then.
I mean,
I mean, if you got them on here and you don't use them, you're not out anything. You don't have them on here
True.
and you need them,
True.
then it's too bad.
Well, I'm just asking the question, why weren't
Well,
they
I'm
used?
just asking that question.
I will get, a copy of the budget to your board, so you can look at it and let me know if you need,
They
6
asked for
more.
6.
Okay, I'll get it to you. Put it on your agenda for next month, and then you guys can look at it, let me know what you need. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the planning commission annual report.
I'll second it.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Moore. All in favor?
Alright,
Alright.
Opposed? Motion carries. Township attorney. I think, Darryl, you wanted that on here?
Yep. I did want that on there, and, you know, the attorney and the engineer go hand in hand. I don't know when the last time that the township took a look around to see, you know, what, costs are for attorneys, turnaround time on things, because I have asked questions of our attorney, and it's taken months to get an answer back. And then, when I get the answer back, it's not even a question that I asked. So, I would certainly, and I'm not alone in this, take a look around to see what other attorney firms are out there and what their costs are. You know, start keeping some of these professionals honest, because it's just like insurance. I mean, if you're going to stay with the same insurance firm for years and years and years, and you don't take a look around to see what's out there, you really don't know. So that's why I asked that to
They're
be
about
on there.
$2.25 an hour.
Huh?
Do what?
Attorneys are typically $2.25 an hour.
I don't know that. Do we get a breakdown on what she charges and?
The bills are here, you can come in and look at them.
The,
She breaks it down for what she charges for the planning commission, she breaks it down for zoning, and then just general, so there's like 3 different, areas that she.
haven't you had, both of them, anybody, if he's here yourself, asked a question from Bondi, and then a couple of different times of different things that even up, and it was get one answer one time and one answer the next time? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, some of the stuff don't always line up. So, I would like to take a look around and see what other attorney firms are out there.
I know that, I had brought, I might not have one right now. Before when we were going through to, Foster and Swift just to go over, to do our, solar ordinance, to look over it. That's actually a general law, township too, they do it for multiple different municipalities as well. I can, re-forward, what they had, reach out to them as well.
So whatever we gotta do for a RFP, and I don't know who sends that out, whether it's Cam or who sends it out, but some of these other attorney firms that are in the area,
I know a lot of times MTA has them in their,
perfect.
books and stuff. So is that with the township engineers, you want that also? Is that the
Absolutely.
reports?
We can even look out to, Manic and Smith too, because they do that kind of stuff.
Whatever engineer groups or whatever's in the area, I would like to take a look around to see what's out there and available. I mean, I don't know if we're too small, if we don't, fall under somebody's radar, where, the issues aren't that big. But when you go for months and don't get a question answered, I just asked you again, I think it was last month, did we hear back from Bonnie on something? You said no, haven't heard back from them. So, when I ask a question, and I know everybody's busy, but if it takes a couple of months to get an answer, and you're holding the whole planning commission up, or something on it.
Everything.
Everything.
It stalls us.
All right.
Everything.
I will check on that through MTA and see if they have recommendations, or I'd like to keep it local.
Absolutely.
I don't want an attorney in Detroit or,
I don't either. I would like to keep it local as well, but
Foster.
holy cow.
Foster and Swift's local too.
These, I can't believe every township in Monroe County uses the same attorney.
there's quite a few, actually. that use
Well,
that
if they do, we must fall to the bottom of the list.
firm, actually. But I'll check it out.
All right.
I'll get you
Perfect.
some quotes and
Absolutely.
see what they will charge. And I'll do that for the attorney and engineer.
Yep.
All right. KCI assessing. This is for Julie, our assessor. They're sending out the assessments, and she's having this KCI company do it. So with postage and mailings and everything, the total cost is $1,307.73. And let's see how many, it doesn't say how many it is. 1,768 mailings. motion to approve KCI bill for our assessor to send out on the assessments in the amount of $1,307.73. Do you have a second?
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Nichols. We'll do a roll call. Myself, yes. Lisa?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kim is excused. Motion carries. MTA Capital Conference. I have no idea what this.
That was Kim and myself. It's actually going on the 1st of March to Lansing to meet the legislators, especially the ones who wanted proposal 2 to be approved. And this is when there is state and national, they want in-house voting for 9 days before the election. That means 9 days. Our budget right now is like $3,000, which we went over budget for the state election. This is going to be 9 times that because they want us to be in-house for 9 days before the election, which is then the 10th day. And we would like to meet with these people to see why and how we're going to be able to do it.
What's the cost? It doesn't
Pay before, received after the 31st of January, $75.
And that's
And we're just going for the day. We're not going overnight or anything.
what's this on-site rate? What's that mean? Does that mean in person?
Yes. Actually, I don't know, to tell you the truth. That would be after, if they don't get it until
So
after
you
the
go up to
22nd.
Lansing the day of.
Right, well, all of them are,
Yeah.
but it's between, if we pay for it after February 22nd, it would be $95. If we pay for it before the 31st, it looks like it'll be $75.
So 150 total.
Correct.
And it's just a one-day thing.
Correct. Yep. And again, we'd be leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning, coming home afterwards.
What day of the week is it?
Wednesday, I believe it is. It's the 1st of March.
First.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the clerk and deputy clerk to attend the 2023 MTA Capital Conference in the amount of $150.
Second.
Thank
By
you.
Turner, second by Nichols. And we'll do a roll call. Myself, yes. Lisa Moore?
Yes.
Bill Nichols?
Yes.
Kim's excused. Mike Pinkowski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
MTA Board of Review training. I don't think we need this. All of our Board of Reviews was trained last year. We only have to do it every other year. So I don't think we need it this year. Maybe next year, but not this year. I think the assessor put it in here, but I'm almost positive they were all trained last year. I'll find out for sure, and if not, I'll put it back on. Our spring cleanup day, we need to decide when we want to do our spring cleanup so we can start getting stuff ordered and arranged.
What did we do last year? It was nice out.
I think we did it in May.
I thought it was in April, the end of April.
Yeah,
Was it the end of April?
yeah, it was that April. I didn't think about it.
It was the end of April.
Gotta have something to think of.
It was that April.
All right, look, the last day of April, last Saturday would be April 29th.
No, that's Cinco de Mayo.
I thought that's in May.
It says Cinco de Mayo all day. Oh, I hit May 5th. Yep, you're right. I got a cracked screen. Sorry.
Uno, dos, tres, cinco. May.
I was gonna say.
Cinco de Mayo, 5th of May.
All right, so
I did that once too, though.
Boy.
April 29th that good for
Do you know if
everybody?
the Silver Linings will be able to come that day? Is the only thing.
That's why I wanna do it ahead of time.
Right. Okay. Okay.
That way it gives us time to call them and get
Right.
it arranged, and if there's
And the
a problem, an
dumpsters and
issue,
all
we
that.
can always reschedule it, but I wanna get a date so that we can start getting that stuff lined up.
Okay.
Does that work for everybody? April 29th is on a Saturday?
Daryl, you coming?
We'll see how I feel.
That's why you're having surgery.
I am having surgery next month.
When you have surgery? We have surgery.
Just a little surgery here.
No, you don't have to say.
Alright, so let's shoot for April 29th, tentatively, and, we'll see about getting the trailers and stuff and the dumpsters, and even if you could check on dumpsters and
Dumpsters, yep.
trailers. And I was gonna try to check on shredding this year.
Okay. I actually have somebody that I may know.
we do?
How many dumpsters you plan on getting again?
4,
Okay.
And 2 tire trailers?
2 trailers, yeah.
Have we ever figured out a way we can get rid of tractor tires and semi tires?
Now, I have talked to, cause the state's gonna be handling all our billing this year, so that we don't have to deal with that. We got a $6,000 grant, but they will do, question more, they will do semi-trailers, tires and stuff like that, but the disposal fee is a lot more.
But not only that, who's gonna handle that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're big.
You know, we should try to find, maybe line up someone to help us with,
That's why I wanna get it down, because I'm.
so we don't have to rely on anybody who might be coming before the township of business.
I know the jail work program helped us out 1 year, so I'm gonna check into that, but I need a tentative date to give them, so I'm gonna try to get them again. And then there's a Boy Scout group I've been talking to. When I went to that, Greater Milan Area Foundation, they mentioned the Boy Scouts, they need to do different things for their badges, and so that might be an option.
Yeah, but semi
I mean,
That
if we,
would,
if
that
we
would be
need,
a little tough for.
No, I'm saying for like helping residents, you know, I'm not saying for the tires, but
yeah.
they could help, you know.
It's,
But it also, if we need someone's help with, equipment operators and equipment.
Yeah.
I know there's a pretty good guy that knows how to do that.
You know, we rented that, thing last year, but yeah, I can ask around and see if anybody has experience that can run it.
Yeah, maybe, you know, instead of having someone, like I said, someone who might have business before the township helping us out.
We didn't have none that.
Hmm?
We didn't have none last year. Good. Were you here?
And then Milan FFA also said that they, you know, depending on the day, might be able to send some of their people out too.
Oh, that's the people, the inmates again?
No, Milan FFA, the school program,
Oh.
Future Farmers, because they look for stuff to volunteer too, so.
I didn't know that, you know.
I'm gonna try to get as much help as I can. That's why I wanna get the date tentatively scheduled so I can start asking around. And if that doesn't work, then we will have to do something different.
I'd say we should be getting pretty low on tires. I mean, last year we didn't.
Yeah, but
we
the trailer and a half, I think last year.
Last year, John. At the end?
Yeah, we
Okay.
wound up about third.
Third, yeah.
Nothing like the first year. First
crazy.
year we had front, back, top to bottom, side to side, everything. Like trailers. And I mean, we stuffed them.
I know, last year we did that, electronics too, and that cost us quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Good.
More
That
than
really,
we anticipated, but yeah,
That used to be free.
yeah.
I think it was close to $5,000.
It was up there.
Much money. And not only that, I
And
had
then-
to come out.
Are you gonna look into recycling?
Yeah,
I had to come out and clean up the mess after the kids broke everything all to hell.
I know there's been a lot of people
Sure.
asking about shredding, getting a shredding truck, so check into that too.
Yeah, then we'll have confetti flying all over.
Alright, moving on, number 10.
Out of there doing their
Decker
job.
insurance bill. This is our yearly bill from our insurance company. The total is $19,603 to be paid in 2 payments. Looks like due now is $10,403.50. So I'll make a motion to approve the total amount of $19,603.
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Pinkowski. And this also has we added our sign, in here, so that if our sign got damaged, we have a writer for that. I don't wanna jinx myself, but hopefully it doesn't happen. Alright, I say yes. Lisa Moore,
Yes.
Darren Nichols,
Yes.
Kim excused, Mike Pinkowski,
Yes.
motion carries. Alright, moving on to second citizens time. Anybody?
Yeah, hi.
Aye.
Holly Blade, been going around to some of these community meetings, letting you guys know some of the stuff that we're dealing with the school district. Right now, we are in a little bit of a struggle right now getting these books removed. We have over 40 sexually explicit books that we've identified in the Milan area schools, mostly in the high school. We've asked officially for 4 of those books to be removed. One book, the book review committee suggested to the board that they remove it. The board voted to change that and amend it to keep it. It's called Fun Home. It's a graphic novel. I have pictures of it. Trust me, you don't want to see it.
It's pretty bad.
The other 3 books that we asked to be removed, the book review committee recommended that all 3 of them be kept. All 3 of them have now been appealed. At the next board meeting, they will be discussing and they will be forced to vote on the record, all of them, whether or not they think these books should be kept. One of them is called Tricks. So we're all adults here. This is available to kids as young as 13. His arms wrapped around me and his rough hands go straight to my boobs. I try to knock them away, but I'm no match for his strength. You like it rough? Because I'm just the guy to give it to you. No extra charge. He's on me, yanking my hair, pushing me to my knees. He flips me over. You're even prettier from behind, you know that? I hear his zipper lower. It is the loudest sound ever. He yanks down my shorts. He's on me, in me, humiliating me in every possible way, right here on the kitchen floor. I'm taking it very easy on you guys. The kid's a lot worse. That was one of the books that the school board decided to keep. The other one is Push, which is about a 7-year-old little girl who's raped by not just her dad repeatedly, but also her mom. She's forced to do oral sex on her mother, and she talks about it in great detail. We are treated at these board meetings like we are fascists, Nazis, and book banners for wanting these books removed from the high school. We're not wanting them to be banned. We just want them removed from the high school. It's very different. We want them to be available at the Milan Library, Amazon, Borders, just not in our school. It's amazing the way the community is treating us, and I think everybody out in these townships need to understand what's happening. There's a very loud, small group of people, mainly inside the city, that are making a lot of noise, and they're silencing a lot of people and bullying a lot of us. And people are afraid to speak up. Parents are afraid to speak up. People who work for the district are afraid to speak up. There's a lot of bullying that's taking place. We need people, even if you don't have kids currently in the schools. If you're a taxpayer in the Milan School District, you are a stakeholder. You have every right to be at the meetings. You have every right to give public comment. You have every right to send emails to the board. I have sheets here that have all the email addresses, has all the links for the Facebook page, the YouTube page. You can watch the meetings. You can see what I'm talking about and the way we're treated. We get emails all the time telling us that our kids should be orphans. They should kill us in our sleep. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Our God is ashamed of us. He wants nothing to do with us. But when some of their outrageous statements were gone viral on social media, our board received some emails that were horrific. And some of the same kind of threats. You should be raped, you should be murdered, which we receive as well. However, they tell everyone that it's our fault that they are receiving these threats. One of the board members at the meeting last week decided to resign her position. She claims that it's because of the threats. As far as I know, the police have not deemed that a credible threat that she received. It was another email, probably from someone most likely out of state. Most of them have been from out of state. However, regardless, she claims it's for that. I will offer a suggestion that it might be because the Milan police are actually currently doing an investigation into the fact that this school board and this district and this library and this book review committee, they are adults providing pornographic material to minors, and that is a felony, bottom line. So I would argue there's a very good chance that there are some board members who are not necessarily excited about being affiliated with the board during a police investigation. And not so much because there are people in our community who deserve to be vilified for standing up for our kids. So, just wanted to take you all.
When are the school board meetings? What nights are they?
Usually every other Wednesday. So the next one is 22nd.
They get pretty good.
Oh yeah, they get pretty.
Does their kids go to the school too?
Some.
So,
Wow.
Full disclosure, I have a kid that graduated from Milan, so I got to deal with that hell. I have another kid who doesn't go to Milan. That's the reason I'm able to go to these meetings and speak up. Most parents who contact me to tell me what they're dealing with will not do that because their kid still goes to Milan. So when people argue that I shouldn't have a say anymore, first of all, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a stakeholder in the district, but also the reason my kid does school of choice is because of some of the disgusting, horrible policies that are taking place in Milan. Milan has a 13-plus year decline in enrollment. 10 years ago, the high school had over 1,000 students in it, and now it's under 600. No district in this area has that decline. None. As a matter of fact, most of them are up. Ida is closed for school of choice next year. Dundee, closed for school of choice next year. Airport. You know why? Those are 3 districts that are still pretty sound in a lot of their decision making that people from places like Milan and Monroe Public Schools choose to go to be rescued from the horrible districts that they live in. And they're all full. They will not take anyone. And it's February. And they've already said we cannot take any more next year. So they have nowhere to go now. People have nowhere to go. That's reasonable
And
in
Milan
this
has a
area.
huge millage for their schools too, by the way.
16.2 mils.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where,
They're huge.
that's a big one.
Yeah, but look at our budget. We are in a budget crisis. They will be laying off teachers next year. I
And I don't
guarantee
understand
you
why.
that. Well, first of all, because enrollment's down. They don't need them.
Yeah.
But also because if you look at the way they manage the budget, it is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. You look at how much our superintendent makes.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
disgusting.
worked for the school.
I know you
recently
did.
quit.
I know you did, which I was very interested in sitting down and having lunch someday and talking about it.
Yeah.
But there's a desperate need for paraprofessionals in our district, and it is disgusting that we're losing them by the day. And as a result, we have special needs kids whose IEPs are not being followed.
And what got me is they pulled me away from special ed to deal with other kids that had behavioral issues.
Behavioral issues. So what we did is Santa purchased Why Meadow Died. It's a book about what happened in Parkland, Florida, where 17 kids were killed and 17 people were injured from a shooter. We purchased the book and we purchased copies for all the school board members. And then we asked them to do a book study on it, and we even did an online petition. We got over 140 signatures or something. They finally, after dragging their feet, they finally agreed to do it because the other 2 book studies they've done, of course, are extremely liberal leaning. So they finally decided to do this book study. They started it at this last meeting. And if you go back and watch that meeting, the reason I said it is because it's not so much, yes, we want to avoid having a school shooter, but those policies are the same policies in Milan that cause those behavioral issues, and they were the same policies in Oxford. And it's not even just that the districts that have the school shooters, it's all these districts that have all these kids suffering from being bullied and all the behavioral issues that are taking attention away from kids who need it. Kids are being harmed every single day that we never hear about, not just the ones who are shot and killed. But yes, all of these policies lead up into these situations. If you watch that meeting, I promise you, Penny, you will be disgusted to hear their comments when they discussed their takeaways from the foreword of this book. It was all about the fact that the dad who wrote it is a conservative, and the fact that his language said regular classrooms versus special needs or whatever kids, you know, that they're not regular, they're not normal, and they were so distracted by his verbiage. And my comment was, this terminology did not kill those children. So stop getting hooked up on this crap. And one of our brand new school members actually had a point of saying, this is actually anti-racist. It's not that it's politically correct, like he calls it. These policies are anti-racist, which is good, to call out bias and to call out, this is all what's causing everything that's happening here. And it's happening in Milan, and you know it. You know there are kids that are dangerous in Milan that are being overlooked. and they're being pushed through the system. Not to mention the kids who are 5 years behind in reading, and they're being passed on to the next grade. Sorry.
Yeah, me,
Getting started.
stop in sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
That would
you
be
can
interesting.
contact me.
Yeah, if you want to leave your number.
Yep, I will do that.
How
Do
many,
you-
how
do you
many of
have-
those school board members just got elected?
Yes, they're two of the most woke school board members that have ever been elected.
I don't know what woke is.
Involved.
Liberal. I'm talking extreme radical liberalism. I'm not talking a Democrat. I am talking extreme radical liberalism where they honestly would prefer for policies that anyone they prefer these books. They will actually fight to keep these books in the library. That kind of mentality. They have their heels dug in so deep against anything that we bring to them as an issue that they refuse to listen to it. And the board, across the board, except for one person on it, they are defending that superintendent. The board should be overseeing the superintendent. In our district, it is the other way around. He has been in that position for so long, he's in control of that entire district. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way it was created to be. That structure should be the other way around.
He's out of touch with reality. That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, I would.
He's about to
I would
retire.
get you on that, Penny.
He's about to
know.
retire,
I
and he's
know.
going to leave our district in shambles. And
I know.
whoever does decide to take that position, which I really pray that it's somebody quality, but I don't understand why anyone of quality would. Because it is going to be such a dumpster fire that if anyone was smart enough, they would look at what happened to our district, and when he does decide to leave, which I'm sure is in the next 2 to 3 years, they will look at that and say they want nothing to do with it, because it is an absolute disaster what he's created. But look at his compensation. It's all public information. He's the
10th
Hun-
highest.
100
Yeah, he's like the 10th highest for about the.
I think it's 111th out of 500 superintendents in the state. He's 111th,
But he's like
highest
10th,
compensation.
Yeah, but he's like 10th for like the size of the school.
Yeah. Yeah. He has an outrageous amount of compensation. His package, his contract's 11 pages. It's outrageous.
Do you have a copy of those titles?
Yeah. I have some
Could I-
excerpts here.
Yeah, because I'd like to.
I have a
I'd like to do
spreadsheet,
some
too.
research on those and see where all they are available. Is
Yeah.
that-
She had posted on the residence page the
Yeah.
graphic novel.
The gender queer.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
No, I'd just like to. I'd
Yeah.
like to-
Yeah,
disgusting.
where there's Gender Queer is another graphic novel that has picked images, and one of the images is a transgender. It's a girl who is transgendering into a boy, and the sister explains to him that
That's the
you've
one.
never tasted yourself, and there's actually a picture of him with his finger with vagina slime on it, and he is trying to get himself the nerve to taste himself. That's in our high school.
Do they not have some kind of group that looks at these books before they're
Yes.
put in our system?
Yes.
And they approve those?
There's organizations in our community that we're still researching that have donated some of these books to the Gender Sexuality Acceptance Club in the high school, which is supposed to be a student-led club. It used to be a Gay Straight Alliance, GSA. It's now Gender Sexuality Acceptance. That's what they've changed it to. And there's an outside organization in Milan that is either ARC, which is led by Amy Landingham, who used to be on the board. Jill Tousley's affiliated with it, and Ashley St. Clair. ARC is possibly one. I know they've been working with the GSA on things. They did the Pride picnic and everything else with them. So they may have been the outside donation that donated some of these books. Also, GMACF, Greater Milan Area Community Foundation, has also donated thousands of dollars actually to different groups in the community and in the high school for GSA type activities.
Yeah, they just recently, I had to go give a presentation in front of them and they were there again.
Yeah, who's on that board, Penny?
I could find out for you, I don't know.
Brian Gearbaugh.
He wasn't there that day.
Well, he's on the board.
Is he really?
He is on the board. Brian Gearbaugh, superintendent of Milan Area Schools, is on the board of the GMACF. And you look at how many times they grant money into things that are affiliated with Milan Area Schools that basically supplement his own budget.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
because he wasn't there that night.
He sure
That's
is.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, me get your number before you leave.
I would love to do that, yep,
Get together.
thanks.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay, there's actually a few things. Honestly, I don't remember if you said it or not, when you guys were talking about that, annual review, the report, it was accepted by the planning commission, there was a motion and everything. And the planning commission did get a copy of the budget.
Oh, they did?
They did.
I thought I gave it to them, okay.
It was in the packets. If I have a copy of it, I know they got it.
Okay,
So, that's taken care of.
thought I did.
I will say, once again, I'm going to complain about the minutes. The minutes suck, okay? These videos, these are the only proof that we have of what you guys are saying. If you look at the minutes, okay, for last month, compared to like what my notes say, okay, for supervisor's report, all it says is the motion. Why are we not telling our residents that Penny secured a $3,500 grant toward the cleanup day? Why are we not including that information for our residents? Why is it only motion? For the clerk's report, she's talking about the advanced voting. Why are we not including that to keep our residents informed about what could be coming? That way, if they have questions, this goes into place. They can ask these questions and get them answered way ahead of time. Let's see. During the Board of Trustee comments, Trustee Pinkowski mentioned the PA system. How many people do you have complaining about the PA system and how they can't hear you? Okay, well, it would be nice to have in the minutes that somebody's working on it. And it would also be nice to have in the minutes because then we can hold that person accountable as well. If they say they're gonna do it. Penny mentioned the generator in the Board of Trustee comments. And what do we get in the minutes? Three Board of Trustees made comments. That's what we get. Today, during the supervisor's report, Penny says, altogether, you secured $15,500 in grant money. Why would you not want to put that in minutes? I'm not saying verbatim, guys. I'm saying the important stuff like that. Okay? Also, regarding the minutes from last month, the motion that was put in there for the roads was not the motion that was stated at the meeting. That motion that was put in there, that was a very condensed version, because when Penny stated the motion at the meeting, she stated every road, from this road to that road, and this is how much it costs. Again, Penny, that was an amazing motion that you made, and it really sucks that it wasn't translated the way it was stated. And also, y'all got a big problem because none of you caught this in your minutes, but you spent $30,000 more in your sewer fund because of a typo. And one more thing, the road millage, the amount was not even stated in the motion. And it's not a renewal, it was only part renewal, and then it was bumped up to 2 mils. So technically it wasn't a renewal.
So you're saying our minutes from January 9th, the sewer fund is wrong?
It says 33,000.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, you spent $30,000 to say that the actual amount was.
It can be done during work
We have to
hours.
do it next month, because I don't know what the actual amount was last month. I'll look
It,
it up.
it was just an added free. It was, in fact, I even have the whatchamacallit here, if you wanna look at it. The, where is my stuff? Oh, here it is.
We'll look it up in the minutes. So,
You can't look it up in the minutes because it's,
They're wrong in the minutes.
we'll look it up from last month.
this is, I have to. Oh, here it is. This is from last month. Oh, this is, yeah. See, yeah, she just added
What
a
was it?
three.
3,360.
Yep. But you'll just have to make another motion and, because you can't change it since they're already approved now. So you can't like really make a correction in the minutes. You have to like state something in this meeting,
To amend them. or-
yes, to, in a way, in a roundabout way amend it. But you can't actually amend those minutes.
Okay. Anything else, Amanda?
No, I think I'm done.
I will say sometimes minutes, even before this board, technically were not always done correctly either, because in the official minutes, I should be making $15,000 an hour instead of $15 an hour at the time.
And you're not?
Oh, no. I'm making 17 now, but I was supposed to be making 15,000, so things do get missed.
Okay, so let's get this corrected. I'll make a motion to note that the approved minutes for the January 9th, 2023 meeting has an error under the sewer fund. It should be $3,360 and not $33,360. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Turner, second by Nichols. All in favor?
Aye.
No, yeah.
Opposed?
Yeah, you're right.
Are you in favor? or
Yeah,
you opposed?
no, I was thinking because money, it's just to accept the change.
Right, just a correction. Okay, Board of Trustee comments. Lisa?
I don't have nothing.
Carol?
Nope, nothing.
Mike?
I would like the board to receive, the PC minutes in the agenda as, or at least the minutes, because the, PC gets our minutes, but the, board doesn't get any of the PC's minutes.
Mike, could you?
When I get them, though, I send them out. I just
I never,
haven't. When I
never-
get them, I've been sending out. Maybe
I will send them when I get them.
usually when I get them,
Has
I
there
send
been
them
any
to everybody.
issues with getting them, or
Not
has
last.
it gotten better?
Not last month. I think Doug did last month.
So yeah, I think it's getting better.
I want that noted in the minutes that I asked for that request that the PC minutes get delivered to the board as well.
I have them.
Thank you.
I'll make sure that you get.
What form do you want them? Can I email them when I email them?
Just like, I mean, I look at the,
Just send them to me, because everybody that has a
Okay.
standing FOIA,
Okay.
I sent
Well,
them
I
to,
copied
and
you
the
on
board,
packet so you
and
can forward it.
everybody that's in the. But maybe, because I don't know, you have like 3 email addresses also. Which one do you want to send to?
All
I have London Township, Pinkowski London Township trustee.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I use. for
Well, I
township.
know I got like 3 email addresses for you. So it's Pinkout. What is it that you want it sent to?
It's on our website, Pinkowski.
When would you like it sent to?
Trustee Pinkowski,
Trustee Pinkowski
yes,
at London TWP.
correct.
All right.
I know I've been getting them. The only thing I have is if you took a budget thing, if you could return it, please. so they can make sure, and there's one out front if anybody wants to look at it. I think that's all I've got.
Is
No,
it,
you can keep yours, Amanda's.
is it possible I could get one to keep?
Yeah, you come in under FOIA, just ask for it, I'm sure. I can get you one. I know there's one out front too, if you want to come and take pictures. Whatever you want to do. Okay?
Alright, thanks.
I actually put it up there tonight, so anytime you wanna come in. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Turner, second by Pinkowski to adjourn at 9:30.